Here's a new sneaker from Crocs, and or shall I call it a sneaker or a hybrid sneaker, or whatever you want to call it. And basically, more like I suppose more like a clog, I guess. And it's called the Echo Storm. And I just wanted to sort of check them out because I saw they just recently released, and they've got kind of like a weird sort of unique look to them. And I thought there would be a lot more sort of like a shoe, like a trainer, and just the way they're kind of they're kind of sort of quite deceiving in a way. So they've got kind of like the inner lining that looks like a trainer, but it kind of stops right there, like on your. It's almost kind of just made for the ankle area, and basically to put your foot at the top of your foot in here, and your heel area. So that's about it, and the rest of it's kind of inside is just the plastic. So going all the way through to your toes and your mid side of your foot. So the way they look, they actually look quite nice and on feet, but they do have that kind of chunky vibe to them. So just be aware of that. But the trainer itself, it's got quite a cool sort of design. It's very sort of funky in terms of its presentation, and they do actually look quite cool on foot. I will say that. But I'm not a fan of like big chunky shoes, and this one feels more chunkier than a foam runner in my opinion. So just be wary of that. I like the fact that you have pull tabs to get in and out, and it doesn't feel too bad to get in. And this sort of fits fine. It kind of, my toe kind of comes here, and usually like with Crocs, they kind of fit a whole size bigger. So I think this is kind of right. I think if you've got like a more of a narrow foot, you might find it a bit difficult keeping your foot inside, because I feel like this, because there's no sort of locking mechanism, I feel like your foot's going to slip out. And I don't think there's sort of any way to sort of mitigate that, because the length of the shoe trainer is basically going to be okay. So you can't really go a size down either, in my opinion. I also like the traction as well. So they've got this kind of clear plastic going on here, and that probably provides a lot more. It feels a lot more grippier than this here. This feels slightly on the sort of smoother side, the actual plastic itself, but this feels more grippier. So, but it feels good. Like I'm sure it would be fine, and it also feels soft on foot, if I'm honest. And basically, I think that's coming mostly from the insole. Again, the insole is very sort of thick on this, so you can probably see it through here. It's kind of going from like there to there. That's kind of the insole. It's very thick, and it feels soft here and feels quite sort of bendable up here. But I would say in terms of the sole itself, it's not. It's very thick, as you can see. You can't really bend it. And I'm not a fan of that kind of stuff really too much. I think it has to have some sort of flexibility in there, and that's mainly provided by the insole. But all in all, still a cool looking shoe trainer. So I like what Crocs are doing, and they're doing something different. It's got a kind of futuristic vibe. So here are details for the 2024 Crocs Echo Storm Tundra. It comes in what they're calling a Tundra colorway, so it's basically the cream and beige color, and it comes with a plush insole, so it's really thick, and that's kind of what providing the most of the comfort in my opinion. And it's also got what they're calling some rubber outsole pods, so it's for traction and durability. So it's the clear pods that you see on the trainer, shoe, whatever you want to call it. What they're also using is the Crocs technology, which is called Light Ride, and it's a lightweight foam material that's basically used on the upper and outsole as well. And basically it's made up of all synthetic materials, and the price is $94.99. So in terms of the comfort and sizing, these have a medium sole, so I wouldn't say they're like too soft, but they feel nice on foot. And they also have like good enough arch support. It's not amazing, but it's still good enough. And it's mainly provided by the insole, because the insole is very thick. And basically, I would say there's no wear in time with these. I felt around the toe box it was really soft, so that's basically the TPU Light Ride technology, and basically that seemed to be fine. So when you sort of wearing the shoe and walking around, I felt that there's quite a lot of flexibility in the forefoot area. And I would say you can go true to size on these, but just bear in mind they're slightly on the bigger side. I wouldn't say they're like other Crocs where it's like a size too big, but they can be pretty big, especially if you're sort of wearing socks. But I wouldn't say it's like major, and the problem is they don't do these in half sizes, so it's full sizes, so you either go a size down, which I wouldn't recommend because I think wouldn't have enough room in the toe box, so you're kind of basically stuck with how they are. And I would say, in my opinion, they have like average grip. I don't think they're going to be amazing, in all honesty. I think the rubber outpod's probably going to provide a lot of the grip, but I still don't think it's going to be that great. So in terms of the look and style, I think it's quite nice actually. I kind of looked at these sneakers when they first released, and basically they've got a really sort of futuristic design, and they've got kind of the kind of clogs sort of look to them, similar to a Yeezy foam runner as well, I guess. And they do have sort of chunky, they do look very chunky on feet, so similar to, again, foam runner, but I think even more so chunkier than those. But depends on what kind of style you like to have, but these obviously, the bigger the size, the more bigger and chunkier they're going to look. And I think with these ones, you can, even though they've got kind of breathability, they've got quite a lot of sort of covering in terms of the material itself, so it's kind of pretty much sort of waterproof, I guess. And even if they get dirty, you haven't paid too much for them, so they're probably good to sort of rock in that respect. But I'll just be wary of the grip. And basically, because of this particular colorway, I think you can sort of dress as casual, but you can also go smart casual. But just bear in mind, you have to kind of dress it up appropriately, and probably more sort of baggy kind of wear, I suppose, and it will kind of suit this sort of silhouette more. And obviously they're sort of laceless as well, so they're just sort of slip-on shoes. So in terms of the pros, I like the fact that it's a new silhouette, so Crocs seem to be doing that quite a lot at the moment, and probably a bit easier for them to do that when they've got kind of one material to sort of play with. And I kind of like the flexibility around the toe area. It's more so, it's like quite sort of soft and pliable. And the fact that it's laceless and it's just a slip-on, I always like that. And the comfort is really good on these, so it's got light ride technology, and that's basically the rubber TPU that they used, and then the insole itself is providing a lot of the comfort, and it's very, very thick. And in terms of cons, I'm not sure about the durability. In terms of what I mean by that is the grip, so I'm not sure how long that will last. I think with foam runners they tend to last quite a bit of time, surprisingly, so I'm not sure with these, but I wouldn't sort of count that they're going to last for ages and ages. And I think the cost is probably slightly too high, because I think foam runners retail for sort of £80, or they did anyway, and obviously they are difficult to get, but these seem to be priced sort of £15 more, and I think they're a kind of a similar sort of shoe. And I would say they fit slightly large, especially around the sort of ankle area, so you do find that kind of there's going to be a bit slippage, and I think going half a size down probably is not going to solve that. And I think the main issue is it's just the shoe is just sort of too wide and around the ankle area, and I think if you've got like a smaller ankle, you're going to find it quite difficult, and I think you're going to experience quite a lot of heel slippage, because the liner doesn't really kind of lock you in place. It's not sort of made of any material that's going to kind of keep your ankles in place and foot in place. So in terms of the ratings, I give the look and style here 4 out of 5. I actually think it's a cool looking sneaker. It's not one for me, but it's still a cool looking shoe, and for that reason I think it's quite sort of futuristic and different and new, and also sort of a very sort of chunky look, and just depends on the kind of person you are. You might like this or hate this. And I think the comfort's really good on these. I don't think they're as nice as a foam runner, and that's kind of the upper echelon for me, so I think these are still very good, and I think, like I said, most of the comfort is coming from the insole itself. And the quality, I give it 4. I think the durability I just have questions around, so it's just mainly that really. I think the actual way it's been made and the material seems fine enough, but with Crocs in general, I think, I don't think they last that long in my opinion, but they are quite sort of robust at the same time. And the pricing, I give it a 4. I think if it was priced around the £80 mark, similar to like a Yeezy foam runner, I think this was probably going to be, it'll probably be a good buy. But overall, I still give it a 4 out of 5. I think it's still a relatively cool sort of shoe or clog, or whatever you want to call it, to wear. And if you want to be different, this is like the one to get. And it's kind of nice sort of wearing it sort of spring, summertime as well.